in memory of Aunt Sarah's dad. Okay, and does anybody have anyone else? No? Okay. It's a healthy 3 weeks then, I guess. All right. And let's see here. So I asked Mary Jo Monin to come in. She had stopped in. She had provided us with a letter, a couple of letters and a resume here, and to talk to us about something that she's been interested in forever. And that's the history of the town of Lancaster. And we all got the letter from Ed McCula indicating that he was intending to retire from as Lancaster Town Historian effective October 1. Mary Jo is also aware of the fact that it is a non-paying position,
sure.
But she's still very interested in funding to that, which, you know, I know she's done a lot of nice writings and books regarding the history of Lancaster. Taught me some things that I didn't know. Fred is right. I thought I knew everything about Fred, but Fred was Mary Jo's uncle. Grandfather, and Fred and my dad were friends. They worked together for a number of years. So Fred actually was the publisher of the Lancaster Journal. Yes. So on Central Avenue. So Mary Jo, with that, if you just want to talk to the board about your resume and what it is you'd like to do.
Yeah,
So, do you want the resume that you gave me to refer to? I know I put it in the board's packet, but I think I have it here somewhere. Here we go. Okay. So.
Did you see that super cool photo?
Yes.
You guys are sitting in their seats right now. How cool is that?
That is cool. Okay.
And that's my
Glad we're not wearing their suits.
great-grandfather. Great something, Adolf.
Really?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow. Okay. Adolf is a
There's a lot
Lancaster
of
name
them
goes
around.
way back. Yes. So,
This week was so exciting. I heard that there's a barn on Bowen Road that has parts in it of an old mill that operated in Lancaster in 1852. And I'm thinking about, that piece should be saved, should be restored, should be put on display. I think it would be fascinating. And as the historian, I could approach those people and express the interest that we would have in saving that piece. But if I'm not the historian, I'm just some schmo who likes local history who's trespassing.
yeah.
So that is one of the reasons why I would like to pursue this.
And what is the piece? How big is it?
I don't know anything
I
about
don't
it.
know.
If it's a millstone, it could be 5-6 feet across.
It's the actual mill. And I just, my mind just went crazy. I'm like, oh my God, all the things we could do. And then Gary Schaff gave me a tour of the basement at Cushing's. And, it was so cool. He's got, those stools?
Yeah, right.
From
the counter.
He's got the stools that would spin around on, and he's got them all in his basement.
Oh, wow.
Jennifer Cushing and I were friends. We would stop at Cushing's for a pop at on the way home.
Oh, yeah, on the way home from the middle school. Well, it was the junior high school.
Okay.
And we had to walk past it. You'd always stop in for a Coke and a bag of chips.
People have so many great memories of living here. And that's what we try to capture a little bit in our books on local history. And, I would like to do more books on local history. There's just a ton of history that wasn't included in those books because there's just so much.
Right.
We've got a lot of records in the Historical Society. We've got death records from the rural cemetery, from St. Mary's, from Sacred Heart, from Augie's. We've got them from all over the place. And we've got a couple of really dedicated women over there who work on it every Sunday, inputting them. How wonderful would it be if we could provide all that information on our website where people could look for their ancestors. Genealogy is big nowadays. And there's marriage records, and there's death records, and there's birth certificates. And it's in that building right now, and we need to modernize. We need to take advantage of the technology today, because there's no reason why all that can't be presented.
Right, and you could certainly work with Diane also regarding getting some grants in order to finance databases and the data entry, et cetera. So, you know, that's something that she should be able to help you out with.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Right.
She gave me
So-
the coolest book a couple of years ago. That orange colored book, remember that big?
Yeah.
Certainly have that.
Hey, John, knowing you and knowing your passion and your experience, I couldn't think of anybody better for this.
Wow, thank you,
Honestly.
Ron. You know, and it's not just the old, super cool old stuff. It's what's going on West Main Street right now. It's very historic. It's gonna change the entire landscape of the
Right.
village for years. And we're got a front row seat to that. That needs to be documented and photographed and posted because we've got thousands of Lancaster people who don't live here anymore. If we get a killer website, they could feel like they're back
Right.
home.
And there's so many capabilities, you know, with technology today. And, you know, and I know that you're savvy with technology.
Yes
So-
and no.
Well,
What
you
these
know,
kids can do
but you're
today.
capable of learning
Mhm.
to
Like-
do what it is that you would need to do in order to get it up and running.
You could
So-
take augmented reality, you know, and you could take one of Lancaster's leaders, Frank Cushing. You could take Frank Cushing, how he looked when he was alive, and put him in front of his building, talking about his life and his business. Oh my God, that might draw in the young people. So, I'm thinking about.
Remember Phil's cigar store? Frank and Monica Phil was right just the other side of Murphy's.
Okay,
The building's torn down now,
Okay.
but that was my aunt and uncle had a cigar store there
across from Murphy's or on the same side?
on the same side. Yeah.
Okay. Because in my photo collection, I probably have a photo.
Right. Oh, I'm sure you do, yeah.
We talked about historic walks too and things like that, you know, would help educate people and people love to do this on Saturday just for an hour around the village, you know.
Well,
There's,
bring tourism dollars instead, or tourism dollars, I suppose.
no, the possibilities are just crazy endless, what we can do.
So we're going to need to make an appointment. Ed Kula is retiring effective October 1st. So, you know, we're going to have to make an appointment in the next meeting or two. So,
We'll think about it.
Thanks, Matt.
so we'll have to make a resolution on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to impart?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the board for the work you guys have done on that building so far. That new roof was, you know how
Yeah,
needed that was.
we're getting there, and the portico and is next. And in fact, we have a resolution on tonight authorizing the architecture firm that did our needs analysis
Mhm.
for it to expend an additional $1,200 so that they can put together the bid documents for that. So any chance do you think that we'll be able to move that along quickly so that we can get it done before
How far out does
winter?
it have to go?
Usually you do what, a couple of weeks?
Yeah,
2-3
well, no,
weeks?
it might be 21 days and that's the
Okay.
other quarter.
Right.
Because of funding.
Got it.
That's in there.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
that's the other quarter.
So that's
Yeah.
September, so maybe early October, we could be opening bids and, okay. So if it's a
Hopefully weather
nice fall,
permitting,
yeah,
yeah.
we can get started.
We can get a move on that, so.
One thing I didn't know is if Town Line and Bowmansville are in the town of Lancaster, would this position cover those two hamlets as well?
Well, you know, Bowmansville and Town Line are not municipal governments,
Okay.
and, you know, they are, as you said, hamlets. So, some of Town Line actually, I think, crosses over you know, they may think of it as crossing over the boundary into Alden, I'm not sure. The Town Line Fire District does.
Okay.
But fire districts, post offices, school district, they all have different borders. So, yes, so Town Line would technically be part of the town of Lancaster. I don't believe, there is nothing with regard to the people in Bowmansville where they would consider themselves being part of any other municipality other than the town of Lancaster, that's for sure. So yes, so their history, you know, is part of our town.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I would be honored to serve, and I've got an infinite amount of time to dive into this.
Do they have historians for Bowmansville, official historians? You know, they're not incorporated at all, and neither is Town Line.
Well,
So-
Town Line, Blair's Hardware,
Uh-huh.
she had a, in the corner of her hardware store, she had a little tribute to Town Line there, so she's kind of the unofficial historian.
Okay, yeah, so, you know, yeah, she's just kind of caretaker
And now
of
that
their
they're closed down.
memorabilia. Right,
I'm not sure what the future of that is.
right. Yes, so certainly, you know, anything that they have that, you know, that they feel they couldn't trust to you, you know, is certainly, you know, they're in our town, so,
Okay,
okay. So,
all righty. Well,
okay.
thank you for
All
considering.
right, thank you, thanks for your time and your interest. Okay. Michelle, you wanted to talk to the board about extending the swimming pool season?
Correct. The pool was normally going to close August 18th, but due to the late start, because the schools got out late, we didn't open to July 1st due to having to wait till school ended to get the guards. With that saying, the pool was really only open for 7 weeks, and there's been a lot of people at the pool this year. Obviously, it's been hot, so we've had a lot of interest in extending it for a week to the following Sunday, which is the 25th. I've ran the numbers. We have the money still in the budget, and we have the guards to cover. It would only be open 12 to 5:30 instead of like 8 o'clock because lessons are over. So it would just be like a 12 to 5:30 just to give the people the opportunity to use it during the summer, seeing we spend all that money on chemicals and everything else, might as well keep it open. And the money is in the budget. It won't put us in a deficit. It's all good there.
So, okay, is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Sounds good, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I asked her to make sure, crunch those numbers, make sure. you
It's
know,
good.
So, good. And Matt, land bank acquisition, do you want to talk to the board about that?
I don't. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
Matt.
the other Matt,
It's a regular card tonight, isn't it?
the real Matt.
I'm good.
We were given some documents and some forms to identify vacant and properties that are in arrears, so that the town can consider those parcels and pretty much sponsor them for the land bank acquisitions. So on Friday, I did receive a listing of all the town properties that are in tax arrears, and then I'm going to try to identify them all this week to make sure that we identify the vacant parcels. They're not in the business of kicking people out of their homes. They prefer to work with those occupants to get a plan on getting those things back current with their tax. But they do want to identify the vacants. We did sponsor a couple of the properties last year, and the land bank were able to purchase 2 of them and turn those over and get them back on the tax rolls. The exact ones I don't have with me right now, but you know, it is a successful process.
You, and you also, you know, on a related subject, sent us some photographs of some dilapidated buildings.
Well, this was a request to proceed with condemnation hearings on a handful of properties. One of them, I'm afraid of, is the property that you identified on Bowling Road with the grist mill. It does have some historical significance. I'd like to get that identified a little bit more. And again, these are properties that have been, you know, they've been neglected for years and they're literally falling apart. The one on Broadway, I think, is the worst. It's crumbling. So we need to take some action here. I've had some discussions with Kevin, outside counsel on the process. But we just need to have the board to acknowledge it and move forward with the actions.
Yeah, so who owns those?
They're owned by private individuals right now.
Right.
I believe they're current with their tax payments. So
Yeah, see.
they wouldn't be candidates for the land acquisition,
That's correct.
only to have them torn down.
Right. So, you know, I'm not sure if I mean, they look like they're in rough
They're
shape,
in bad shape.
but are they rehabitable? Are they, could they be remedied?
If you have enough money, anything can be remedied.
Right.
But they haven't been, and as I said, they've been neglected for years. And we're maintaining, we're
I guess-
cutting the grass and sending them the bill.
But I
that's not helping.
guess the question is, if they own it and they're keeping the taxes current, Kevin, like, can we?
Oh, yeah, you can start,
It's not safe.
yeah, it's unsafe property, you can start a condemnation proceeding. You start the process, and they have a chance to respond.
Absolutely.
Right, and we would have to have a public hearing.
Oh, you have to have it, I mean, this is
Yes.
litigation, yeah.
Right.
You're starting action against these people, so.
Right.
And it's a process, I mean.
Yes,
You're giving
and
them
we
a
went
chance
through
to
that
respond.
process on Harris Hill Road a number of years ago also. And then we ended up not demolishing it. And it was actually purchased and flipped. And I can't remember if the taxes were in arrears. I don't think they were.
Well, as I said, the neighborhoods have been dealing with these properties for
Right.
many, many years. Just wearing on them.
Yes.
Did you send the Iroquois? What was the?
One was on Seneca.
Seneca
Seneca
Place.
Place, okay. I saw cars in the
In the
garage.
picture, yeah.
Yeah, so there's already room in that
There's
house.
no garage.
So that's the
It's
main-
maybe the neighborhood.
Oh,
Same
okay.
color, same as the color.
Yeah, I saw a garage with a
Right.
car and I thought, whoa, looks like somebody might be there. Okay.
Okay, so it's uninhabitable.
Right, right. So, you know, I guess we have to prove that, you know, that it's a hazard, and we have to have a public hearing, and, you know,
The village has done this a few times
Could
in the
we-
last few years.
yeah, you know, I have to be honest with you, I think I'd like to make time to just drive out to each of these properties myself and take a look at it, not that I'm not gonna go in it or make any kind of an attempt to go in it, but, you know, at least stand in the road
Identify the
and,
properties, yeah.
yeah, and just take a look at it myself, so that I know what it looks like. And I don't know if any other board members want to do that, you know, and then we could get back
That's
to
fine.
you, and then, you know, between you and Kevin, you could start the whole process of setting the public hearing.
Well, again, it begins right here at the board.
Right.
And with the approval to do so, and we'll just move forward with it.
Got it. Okay. So hopefully by the next, you know, before the next meeting, we can all get back to you on that. Okay. All right. One other,
Second piece of correspondence was for transit road access management. One of the parcels was, it's negligible if we can take legal action, but I still feel that the second parcel, we're able to move forward with eliminating one of those driveways. I'll continue the conversations outside council on that particular property. But, you know, again, they're operating on an expired limit from 2014. And the neighbor that has the access road is willing to grant an access easement.
You and I had discussed this, and I
Right.
thought in
Yep.
favor
Yep.
of that.
right.
And then the MS4 report is in front of you. If you have any questions, I'll just give you the numbers during the meeting.
Okay, all right. Very good. And one other thing, Ron, I had a request from someone. They had looked at the clocks that you have at Westwood and the one on Central and Pleasant Avenue. And I didn't take a look at the one on in Depew. With Duza's name spelled D-U-S-K-A.
But
And,
there's another one spelled wrong. Marino has 2 R's in it.
Yeah, that was pointed out a long, long time ago.
Yes, and so they asked if the town would change it. And they spoke with Mrs. Duza about it. And that's all I can tell you. So,
When it was pointed out last, there was a cost thing, what was,
oh, I'm sure it would be
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah, but the guy did it for nothing, basically. He volunteered, the guy's passed away, so.
that made,
Like me. That was, I mean, he brought it up with Ray, when we brought up with Marino as well. That was just trouble.
Okay, so I will report back to them, telling them that, you know, it is the way it is. And that's it. So we'll review the resolutions quickly.
Very quick.
Yeah, minutes,
Mm-hmm.
audited
10 seconds.
claims, yes. Building permits, we have 129, you've been busy on that. And Catherine Brannicky, she's been on the assessment and review board for a number of years. And I talked to the assessor, and she said she always comes to all of their reviews, and so no reason not to reappoint her. She's requested reappointment. The basic financial statements from our auditors, we have to accept those, and likewise the cash balances for town clerk, town justices, etc., from the auditor. Resolution 7.
Special use for hair salon.
Everybody needs a hair salon.
That's right.
And Ron, 8.
CRPs for 8 and 9.
And 10.
Why are they split?
I don't know.
I don't know why or what.
The public improvements.
Yeah, Diane,
Depends what they're for.
yes. So drainage went to Ron, and you can see that 8 is for drainage, storm sewers, and 9 also is for, that is the issue that we've been dealing with Laurel Lake for how many years, Kevin? I don't know, a lot of years.
Yeah.
And so that is regarding the runoff, particularly from their, from the road going down into Laurel Lake. And 10, that one is for, the improvements on their parking lot. And 11 is appoint police officer, and 12, appoint another police officer, and 13, appoint another police officer. And then 14 is the revised site plan for up in Pleasant Meadows for 24 buildings, and each building is going to have 2 units, so it's a total of 48 units. And let's see here, 15 is the bid package to be prepared by Fruity Battaglia, who did our conditions report for the historic building on Clark Street. And 16 is a neg deck for a stone pad on Wendling Court. And 17 is the site plan for 12 Wendling Court, to approve the site plan. And 18 is a neg deck for the parking lot at the Hull House. And 19 is the Hull House site plan for the parking lot. And 20 is the neg deck for that 4-lot subdivision that's proposed by 5 Mays on Broadway. And that's the neg deck for it. 21 is the site plan for Parker Hannafin. And that's for their 36,000 square foot addition to their manufacturing building, which is out on Walden. 22 is Clyde May's site plan that we did the neg deck for a couple of resolutions before for their bio retention area and their detention ponds. And that's on Cemetery Street. And 23, Dawn.
Talladega.
Yeah, thanks for getting that done.
So that they
Okay,
can
I
get
know.
paid.
So that they can get paid, right. Yeah, Dawn and I talked about this many months ago, a few months ago, and discovered that all these years we have had a town band, and we've never had an agreement with them. So, you know, we thought that it would be important to get an agreement, and Kevin was kind enough to draft that up, so thanks, Dawn, for spearheading that. Finally, got that done. I mean, we've had that town band for over 60 years, so crazy. Ron, 24.
Yeah, this is start the process to get signage put on Harris Roads and little trucks.
And I know the town has asked for this for Pleasant View, and it's never happened. So if you can get this done on Harris Hill, let's move to Pleasant View,
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
because that
The whole
Pleasant
county
View, the chief can tell you, you know, constant constant calls, letters, emails.
We had detail on that for a
Yeah.
while too.
Yes.
Yeah, details, you just, they're not sitting there 24/7,
No, I think that's a
so.
problem with the mapping program, Google Maps, or wherever they're using that, sending the trucks.
Yeah. And everybody uses it, so, and Marco actually, Lieutenant Rosler actually went down to Amazon and met with the people in there and asked them to advise all of their delivery people not to go down Pleasant View Drive. The one thing that I wish the county would do for us, and we can't do it, Transit Road is a state highway, and Pleasant View Drive is a county road. And the county really should ask the state to put a sign up, or to permit the county to put a sign up on Transit Road saying no truck traffic down there, except for local deliveries. And that might help cut down on it. But what happens is, by the time they make their, they come from the thruway to make their left-hand turn, they're on Transit, make a left-hand turn onto Pleasant View, they're there already, and then they see signs. But there are maybe 20 signs on the road there. How many different signs are there? There are. It's just plastered with signs. Nobody can drive and read all of those signs when they turn out. So, the signage really needs to be
We
improved.
right on the signal, is that what we're saying? We hang a sign right on the signal so that left-hand turns,
I don't, that's up to the DOT to tell us what, to tell the county what they would
reached out
allow.
to the state, and the state was going to hang a sign, but they can't hang it on the light. They just not like, because it's not,
Right.
it's too heavy. It's gonna be something that's on the side of the road.
Probably needs to be before that ends, before the turn lane.
It really does,
Yeah.
right, before they even get
Once the
into
turning
that
lane, they're
turning
stuck.
lane.
Yeah.
Right,
The county was a small one, it was single on Harrison, but
right,
hang off the line.
right, yeah. So, 25 is, the maintenance services for, let's see, which building is this for?
Police.
Michelle? The police building, got it.
For the batteries of the police.
Yeah, and this is the one that, back in 2017, this was maybe in November of 2017, they thought that maybe this got struck by lightning and caused a problem, and everything went out. And Ed, I know you and Marco did a lot of research on this, and these people are sole source providers.
Yeah, they're ain't fire, so
Right.
I think it was good service as far as I know.
So,
Correct.
and then the air conditioning unit out at the record storage building. So,
Can I ask about the progress of that project in that building? They would like to issue a renovation permit, get some records of what alterations are being made and changes and stuff.
In what building? The records?
Just records, storage, moving walls, we're putting heating systems in.
We're putting a heating system in, the records room goes so far, and then there was a room that was occupied by,
Whatever it is, I'd like to get documentation of all the changes, we'll issue the permit, verify the compliance, do the inspections, and move on.
okay, well, highway will be doing the renovation. We're just basically taking the one wall out and closing two doors.
That's what the permit verifies.
Okay.
Inspection and verifies. Thank you.
and 27.
Again, supplier kind of thing, the lighting at the 3 Cares and Brick Care. Michelle could, actually, there's only one copy of the light, but we're getting it done for safety and.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
done.
what, you had some animal getting there, right?
Yeah, we don't know what kind of animal, but yeah, they basically chewed at the wires and we had to shut it down because it was dangerous, so we were able to retrieve who built the lights and get the lights, and then we have it all rebuilt by that company, and then Fry installed it because it was cheaper for him to
This
do.
also allow a better shutdown of electric for
Okay.
safety issues.
Okay, yeah, we have to pass it around. 28 highway equipment. And then 29, we have, this is authorizing the agreement between town, and Potosnia, who has had a couple of daughters who passed away, and she, they love basketball, and she is making a financial contribution to the town to build a basketball court out at Westwood Park. So this is authorizing that agreement and accepting the donation.
Replacing the backstop, so it's an offerment.
Next one is, again, the same basketball court up at Westwood Park. So, accepting the bid for that. John Trojanowski has an employee who was not being paid at the same rate as the others who are doing that work. So he asked to increase that hourly rate. And Michelle has asked, again, she's still in need of the labor out there at the Parks and Rec Department, so she's asked for Connor O'Brien to be appointed to that.
It's just for striping various roadways.
Thanks for doing that resolution, Kevin. 35, Dawn, is